So, hey Daisy, it's okay, baby. I'm just talking to the camera. So I've been trying to figure out what to say about this. I don't know why I feel like I need to say something about it, but I feel like I do, so I will. And I'm talking to my YouTube friends. Bless your hearts. I appreciate every one of you, every one of your nonviolent selves. I put up a video the other day because I was surprised when someone blew up the Georgia Guidestones. The Georgia Guidestones are about 4 miles over in that direction, I think. And, I moved here. I didn't even know what they was. And somebody said, well, there's these weird things that somebody put up. Nobody knows what it's about. But, it's just something that's here. Over time, every time somebody comes see me, a lot of times they say, oh, I want to go see Georgia Guidestones. Okay, take you over there. It was a bunch of stones that people had written stuff on. And so I blew them up. 4 in the morning, brought out an explosive device, blew them up. The next day, the town, actually, I don't know if it was even the next day, the town knocked them down, just like boom. So now they're completely gone, what was left of them. Well, I made a video about that. I just said, hey, I don't like it very much. I mean, I think it's dumb that somebody would come over here and blow up something that, belongs to the people of Elberton. Well, in less than 24 hours, I had 20,000 views and 1,400 comments. Most of them were viciously mean and people accusing me of being a nabob and an idiot because I didn't realize that was satanic stuff over there that needed to be destroyed, and they're cheering for whoever blew them up. And it's just I've never been completely overwhelmed with comments on a video. Now I got trapped in a flood. That was a big video that I made, and it was a live video, and I didn't know if I was going to live through it or not. I got a lot of comments. I responded to every one of them, but I just stopped reading the comments on this particular video because hardly anybody I know that I normally talk to on my channel commented. One guy said he knew me from my channel, and he told me I needed to wake up, and I don't know what I need to wake up to. I don't know if I need to wake up to the fact that somebody can write something on a rock and leave it in the cow field over here, and somebody else can get so upset about it that they obsess over it and spend however much money it takes to come out here and blow it up. And somebody else told me, well, that was an act of God to blow up these stones because they were satanic. Let me tell you about God. God does not need for us to defend him. God does not need for us to save Christianity or religion. Christianity did not exist when they crucified Jesus. On the way to the cross, Jesus' disciples wanted Jesus to call down fire to destroy the Samaritans. And Jesus was like, not having any part of that. And when Jesus was praying in the garden and the Romans came to arrest him, Peter pulled out his sword and he cut the ear off one of the people that came to arrest Jesus. And Jesus picked the ear up and put it back on the guy. Jesus healed the guy that Peter had attacked. Now that's two pretty strong moments where Jesus chose to be nonviolent. And Jesus said to his disciples that I'm gonna die, I'm gonna be crucified, and I'm gonna come back from the dead. And he told his disciples, I give you one commandment, and that's that you love one another the way I have loved you. And he said, people will know that you're Christians by your love. Well, they crucified Jesus, and at that moment he was just another kind of radical day worker that was killed by the state. And that was the end of that. Only he did rise from the dead, just like he said he was. He showed us that he was God, and he had power over life and death. And if you don't believe it, you read the historical record. There are more historical records about this event than anything else that was going on in those times. In fact, the mighty Roman leaders, there's less written about them than what was written about Jesus. And during the period of time after Jesus rose from the dead, the disciples of Jesus carried out this message that he gave us of love and doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. So love, kindness, and it changed the world. The Roman Empire fell. The church of the day, which had a hand in executing Jesus, their temple was destroyed within 40 years after the death of Jesus. The people who followed Jesus and went out into the streets to tell everybody about his life and what he had done, they didn't have guns, they didn't have ammo, they didn't have weapons, they didn't use violence, they used love to change the world. They used kindness to others. They used being servants to others. They used not putting myself on top and making sure I win the battle. On the other hand, I will put myself on the bottom. Roman soldier comes along, wants you to carry his load a mile. Jesus said, carry it 2 miles. Somebody slaps you on one side of the face, turn your face so they can slap the other side. Don't fight them. Don't try to defeat them. Don't try to win over them. Be humble and be loving. That created Christianity, and it changed the world. We set our calendar today by the birth of Jesus. And most of the nations of the world where people are free were founded on the principles that Jesus gave us. God does not need us to go out and fight to help him. God's God. He's powerful. If God wanted to strike people down, but God, that isn't God. That isn't God-like. It isn't Christian. I've had so many people tell me if I knew anything a lot about the Bible, but I don't need to say so. And you know why? Because I don't need to convince people that I'm higher up than them because I've read more Bible than they have. I don't need to argue with people and say, well, the Bible says this, the Bible says that. I don't need to get into a back and forth conversation trying to justify myself for thinking that someone coming into my town and setting off an explosive device at 4 o'clock in the morning and destroying a local landmark and taking it away from the people of this town, I don't need to justify myself for saying that's wrong and it shouldn't be done. And if you're justifying doing that because you think it's satanic, if anything is satanic, that action is satanic. And also, what makes it satanic? The idea that you think it is? I had a YouTuber, he says, I watch you all the time, but you need to wake up. Well, I tell you what I'm awake to. I've been in a relationship with Jesus Christ ever since I was a kid. We walk together, we talk together. I follow his example to love people. And I don't need to follow the example of hatred and violence and mean-spiritedness and argumentativeness. I reject that. And hey, if that makes me an ignorant nabob, I am a happy ignorant nabob. I had another YouTuber tell me one time, you're just a sheep. And I guess, there are people who use the phrase sheep as meaning that you're they've got a political meaning and it's a bad thing. But, Jesus said, you are my sheep and I am your shepherd. And I told him, when you tell me I'm a sheep, I consider that a compliment. Yes, I humbly adore and love the lovingness that Jesus brought into this world. And I am against violence, destruction, destroying other people's property because you say it's satanic. I think that act itself is much more satanic than a piece of granite sitting in a cow pasture over here with words written on it. That's my 2 cents worth, and I'm sticking with it. Right now, over in Ukraine, the Russian government, under the leadership of a godless person, is killing people and trying to destroy people. Literally destroying people's lives, people's cities. If I wanted to get upset about something, I'd get upset about that. If I wanted to give money to something, if I wanted to spend money, I wouldn't spend money to come to a little town like this and blow up a local monument. I'd send that money over there to help those people or something like that. Do something good with your hatred. I mean, I don't even think you should do it out of hatred. I think you should do it out of love. But there's a lot better things you can do with your anger. We live in a world where people are fueled by anger. all those people, as of today, I've got 26,000 hits on that, and as of today, I've got 17,000 comments on it. Those are not people that listen to me every day. Those are not my YouTubers that I've known since we started doing this in 2007. Those people came from somewhere, and after they get over this, they'll go to somewhere else. My thinking is they're probably a bunch of people that go on the internet and argue with each other, and they probably hop around from one site to the next, and they continue to argue with each other all over the internet. And that's fine with me, because you know what? For every one of you that's arguing on my website, I'm making money. A while back, I decided that God wanted me to give more money to help feed kids in third world countries, and I give a lot of money. I'm not saying that to be bragging or anything. I'm just saying that I'd reached a point where I was just automatically giving so much money every month. I didn't know if I could continue to do that without running out of enough to pay my bills at the end of the month. But God said, I want you to take on some more kids. And I said, well, God, I'll do it, but I'm going to do it on faith. So I stepped out on faith, and I took on some more kids so that they can get something to eat and so that they can get an education. And it occurred to me that all these people that are using my video to argue with each other probably don't realize that God is using that to generate more money from my video, which I will in turn send over to help support more kids. Maybe I'll send it over to help more people in Ukraine. In fact, I'm leaning very heavily toward doing that again. We, as a people, should find more and better ways to love ourselves and each other. We should find ways to love the people that we don't like. I heard a preacher the other day said, people over here say that those people over there are bad, but if you're a Christian, those people over there are your mission field. If you walk with Jesus and there's someone out there that you don't like or that don't like Jesus, we're not supposed to get mad at them. We're supposed to tell them about the love of Jesus and invite them to experience the love of Jesus, not hate. So I just want to say that because I got YouTube followers that have been with me for years, and you're nice people. We have a quiet little channel here. I always try to put up stuff that somebody can let their kids watch without without it being bad for kids, if that makes any sense. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate all your loving and peaceful hearts. And I appreciate you being my friend. And if you're one of those hate-filled people, well, I appreciate you too. And I invite you to wake up to the love of God, to the softness and gentleness which Jesus brought to us, which changed the whole world.